Okay, my friends, here we are with my good friend Mike Russo. He's one of the listing agents on this really, really cool listing. But if you read the title of the video, you might have an idea of what this listing is. Give us a quick synopsis of it, Mike.
Yeah, so basically, as the title might state, this is actually one of a great property from the show Schitt's Creek. And obviously, it's not just a storefront, but we actually have a residential side to it as well, which is really cool. So actually, overall, there's like 5,000 square feet of actual space here on this property, which is awesome. And it's in the heart of Goodwood, which is also a beautiful community, right?
It is. The Goodwood's amazing. I've lived in this area for a long time, a really long time, and we're standing right in the store. And guess, we all know what the store's name is.
Rose Apothecary, of course.
There you go. And here's the thing: what does apothecary stand for? What does it mean? Do we know? I asked Mike this off camera. He said no. I said wait till the video starts. This is the real. So I actually asked my wife. I didn't know either. And what it's the old term, or a term from years ago. Pharmacy is really what it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. Now you say that. Yeah.
There you have it. So Mike and I thought while we're kind of touring around, and you'll see videos of and featuring this listing here, we thought we'd talk a little bit about the market, because as we're filming this, we just had the Bank of Canada raise the interest rate by another 50 basis points, which means there could be a lot of uncertainty in the market right now.
Yeah.
But what are your clients seeing? What some of your seller clients, your buyer clients, what are you working with?
So fortunately, we work with a lot of buyers, and we have a lot of younger buyers, which is a great opportunity. Yes, the interest rate is gone up, and it's becoming a little bit harder for them to qualify, but we are actually seeing a lot of families gifting money to their children so that they can actually get into the market, which is helping them actually purchase at a lower price, which is awesome for them. Now, on the flip side, of course, with the sellers, it's not so great, right? And we have had a couple sellers that have done what we call chase the market, where they think that we're still going to get that really, really high price, and then obviously the reality is that the market coming down, they have to make those price adjustments. And I think it was you that actually posted the other day about the average price, the average relisting actually. I think it's like 75% of them, right? Which is crazy high, but it is the reality of our market in a changing market. You just got to be on top of it. And I guess there's that great Gretzky quote, right? I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it's been.
I like it. And to provide some clarity on how many homes we're seeing relisted, it was the reverse of what you said. I hate.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I never like correcting people on camera, but in this case, we're seeing 1 out of every 4 in certain areas, and in cross Toronto real estate, where 1 of every 5 homes is being relisted.
Right.
Being relisted, which means you're chasing the market.
Yeah.
Right? And we always have conversations, Mike. I know you do really well. We never want to chase the market. We don't want to be on the market. We want to be in the market, or ahead of the market.
Or ahead of the market.
Right?
That's exactly.
I think we're onto something good. I think we're onto something good. Don't let it get away. This could be everything. You know I gotta say, I think we're onto something good. I think we're onto something good.
Interest rate hikes. What's going on in the market? I was just mentioning to Mike off camera that I was on a webinar yesterday held and hosted by an economist in Canada. I know, put me to sleep. However, this is where good information comes from.
Yeah.
The number of listings, Mike, right across Canada is actually some of the lowest numbers we've seen in a long time, which means something's got to give here. Those listings are going to start selling again, which is a good sign for our economy.
Yeah.
Now, are we going to see those rates bounce back up, or the values bounce back up? No, I think we're in for a nice soft landing for probably, I'm going to say 9 to 12 months. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. And that's what I've been advising all of our clients as well, is, probably for the next year or so, you will start to see that soft landing. That's the exact term I've used as well, actually.
And of course, with markets like this, when you have high interest rates, and when it becomes tougher to purchase a home, what market tends to elevate?
The rental market takes off, right?
Yeah.
And it becomes so much harder for families to afford. Like, I know the average rental now, like they're, some of them for a whole detached home, you're looking at $3,500, $3,600, $3,700. That's a lot of money. That's a mortgage payment plus, right?
Absolutely. And where we're seeing those numbers is, right across the GTA. And the interesting thing here too, Mike, and this was something, again, back on the webinar that I was on yesterday that I hadn't thought of before, there is a tipping point, meaning the higher the rental rate becomes, the more it makes sense to go purchase.
Yeah, versus actually renting and paying that high rent to a landlord, right?
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
So what I feel we're going to start seeing is we're going to start to cap out what that rental rate is, or how much people are willing to pay, right? And now we'll start to see some of those buyers come back. Now, is it going to be overnight?
No.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll we wish it were. It'll be something that we ease back into it. So the interesting thing that's happening right here in Stouffville, and I know in some of the parts of the in York region that we're seeing, is multiple offers.
Yeah.
So what does that mean, Mike? What we're having sellers and listing agents agree on a marketing strategy where they are listing well below market value to generate multiple offers.
Yeah, which seems crazy given our current market conditions, but it's working.
It is working, and two examples of that is just recently over this past weekend we had one home sell with 17 offers, and another home sell with 7 offers.
That's crazy.
And when I look at the numbers, Mike, the valuations that came in wouldn't knock your socks off. It's
Right.
not. We're not talking like early 2022 numbers here.
Right.
They still sold for market value.
Yeah, interesting. The agent just took the approach of holding offers on it, which is so fascinating to me, right? But I think it is possible given a certain price point, because it is very common. We have a lot of first-time buyers out there that are shopping, and we're competing on every single listing. And I'm sitting there going, how is this possible? But again, it is that certain price point. I don't know what the price points were for yours, but I'm finding that anything under about 1.1 million seems to be pretty hot and active still.
Yeah, exactly. And we use that. And that, wherever you're watching this, that might sound like a really high number or a really low number.
Yeah, sure.
But what we know in the GTA, anything below 1.1 or thereabouts is really our entry level. And remember, people can always buy down.
Yeah.
It's harder to buy up, but you can always buy down in any market, right?
Yeah.
And both you and I were on another webinar today together,
Yes.
where the mortgage broker talked less about the mortgage rate, and I love this analogy. Less about it doesn't matter what the mortgage rate is. It was the affordability.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And she walked us through what the affordability. Let's have an affordability conversation as opposed to an interest rate conversation, right? Because we always get
Everyone gets tied up in interest rates, right? That's exactly it. And it is. If you can still afford it and it makes sense for you and your family and it's the right property, then it does make sense, right?
It does make sense. So where is the market going from here?
Who knows?
I don't know. Well, actually, we have some clarity on it. And you've been watching our videos. Even since middle of summer, we said the market's going to slow down in August. It's slow down in August. I don't care what type of market we're in. We're going to see that bump middle of September.
Yeah, and it did.
We saw that
Yeah,
bump,
yeah.
right? And prices came up ever so slightly, and so did the number of sales. So we're seeing that. So the real estate cycle still works. And where do we go here with interest rates? Well, we just had an interest rate hike. Do we have another one? Possibly. What's that going to do to people's spending habits? That's going to slow the spending habit down a little bit. And something that you had mentioned to me off camera as well is when you were talking to one of the bankers yesterday,
Yeah.
they said, we're not providing as many mortgages. However,
yeah, I thought it was really interesting. They were talking a lot about how they're not providing as many mortgages, but now consolidating debt, right? And refinancing homes, which I thought was super interesting, right? Because that to me says that there's a lot of people out there that are trying to prepare or have payments that are a little bit heavier than they want them to be, and so they got to put it all into one big payment, right?
Yeah.
So one of the cool parts about this listing is that, like I mentioned before, it is, it's just shy of 5,000 square feet total, right? So there's a residential aspect to it and a commercial aspect to it. And everyone obviously knows the commercial aspect just from the show Schitt's Creek, but I think one of the cool parts about it is the exposure you get for this property, right? Like I mentioned, you're downtown Goodwood, right across the street from an amazing bakery, tons of stuff happening. So from a commercial aspect, if you wanted to run a storefront, if you wanted to open up, maybe a bakery or something similar, this is a great opportunity for anybody out there to actually start their own business, right, and be their own boss. And also, not to mention, have that residential side of it, which is they can either live in or actually rent out on their own as well, which is an awesome opportunity for anyone looking to invest in Goodwood, which is a great growing community.